Okay, we are looking at our computer. We are live. This is Mark and Russ. I was trying so hard to get this computer to work, and it's too complicated. Obviously, more complicated than I can put together. There's multiple little things they ask for. That confuses me. All right, Melissa, there you are. There you are. I think we could we be live on here? And, hi. There you go. So you're going to do it from there?
I think I'll try that for now.
Okay.
Because maybe I can actually do it here if we, oops.
Yeah, if you get back. So, can you hear me, Melissa? Can you hear me? Just testing. Testing to ensure you guys can hear. Hey, excellent, excellent. That's nice. All right, so Melissa can hear us. Rita's on, and apparently this just the two right now. But that's okay. We're going to talk today a little bit about our investigation in Sauk Rapids. But for a lot of people, this is kind of new. We haven't done this before. And I'm going to switch this camera around because you're going to get real tired looking at my nothingness here. Bloop. There we go. Look at that. That's nice. Rotate my device. It says, this is rotate because you don't get to do that. All right, there we are. So, I tell you what, before next time, we're going to figure out some of the details about how to do this on the computer, which I thought about doing a practice run earlier today, and I did not. So, but here we are anyway. So we're on live through my phone, and we are talking about a investigation that we did in Sauk Rapids, Minnesota. Only a few weeks ago, not too long. And we really came across an interesting scenario of audio coming out of this location. We had a variety of spirits, I would say, huh, Marcus?
Oh, yeah.
We had, in the end, I guess you would say we had a grandmother, 2 children, and 1 man in the house. So that's 4 spirits potentially in the house. And for sure, at least 1 more spirit outside. 1 male spirit outside, who we learned by chance or through process that the guy's name was probably Ed. And he had been buried somewhere out in that vicinity. But, so, Mark, why don't you lead us into a couple, what's going on with the family? What types of things were they experiencing?
So I think it started almost right away when they moved in, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
And they had been experiencing a lot of different things. The whole family, actually. The kids were hearing voices and actually seeing figures.
Yeah, black shadow, right? Huh?
Yeah, and what's that like a small gray thing that went through the wall? And
Yes.
seeing shadow figures in the mom and dad's room.
Right.
So I think they had all had experienced seeing something and hearing voices, and then you and I were just talking a little while ago about an experience they had almost right away. They just started to, like, we're really lagging.
Yeah.
Sorry. They just started to really expand into
Their Christianity,
their Christianity.
so to speak.
And
Yeah.
her mom had apparently been reading out of the Bible, and first thing that happened is all of the smoke alarms went off.
And this is like instantaneously. They open the Bible, they start to read, and every fire alarm in the house goes off.
Yeah. And then a little bit later, the husband was present, and as they started to read again, a vase flew off of the shelf, and as he was picking it up, his blood just poured out of his nose. So kind of a, coincidence? I don't know. But I mean,
something in the house did not appreciate the fact that this family was leaning back into their Christian faith. And it was showing its disgust with it. And we eventually actually found out that it was the mature, older male ghost in the house that was having an issue with the fact that this young family was trying to build on their Christianity. And that's not nice. That's not nice for a ghost to do. That's not respectful. If we're going to share space, got to learn to get along, right? But in this case, there was too many things going on. And so Mark and I, we get into the place. We get all the details down. Very nice family. And we go into an audio session, and we get quite a few responses that both as EVPs and as audio responses. And we're going to play a couple of those. So I encourage you to hang on, because we're going to play some of these EVPs, what I would call the second half of the show. So after 7:15, we'll start playing some of the EVPs, and some of those electronic voice phenomena are spectacular, Class A EVPs. But so we go into the place, and we're going into our silent time. And what kind of stuff did we experience then?
So initially, Russ stayed upstairs, and then I went down to the basement, and I was kind of laying in the little hallway by the bathroom and 2 bedrooms where there were some things that were supposed to be happening there. And I'm hearing talking, so I was just wondering if it was Russ, because I couldn't hear it. Couldn't make it out for sure. And then just a little bit later, he called down the stairs and asked if I had heard some talking, so we both experienced that. And one of the clips that Russ will play a little bit later has some of that talking from that.
Right, we actually picked up one of the voices that we were hearing with our ears was picked up on one of our audio recording devices.
Yeah, and there were footsteps, and so we did pick up. We had some pretty good communication out of the audio sessions, and
we had the REM pod went off in the back one of the kids' bedrooms, and when I went back and listened to it, you can hear a big knock in the bedroom, and then just right after that, you have the REM pod going off. I come wandering in there to check it out. And then I leave, and after I leave, there's an orb, and it shoots down probably about 2 feet off the top of the ceiling. And it's just a whew. And as it does that, that one's not as clear, but it sounds kind of like somebody's saying, "Get out," which is not uncommon for ghosts to say when they're a little uncomfortable with new people.
So that was unfortunate. So he says, "Looking forward to investigating with you again." I'm like, "No." But that was actually in response to Melissa's question about...
Hello, Kim.
Related to...
I'll say hello to a few folks here while I'm checking.
Yeah, hi, Kim.
Hello, Cheyenne. Shannon. Jerry. Yeah, there's quite a few. This is our first voyage into this episode, this sit down and chat about how the investigations go. We're going to talk about more than investigations during the Tuesdays. We hope to have these. We're going to talk about different phenomena. We may have some guests in where we talk to them about things that they've experienced. So we have a lot of ideas, Mark and I, about this 30-minute little show that we're putting on. It won't last long. Everybody can get back to what they're doing, but we want to just share some of our experiences on this Facebook Live format, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So, anyway, so we're up there. We have a few experiences, and we start picking down the audio, and we start realizing we're getting comments from children, 2 children, like a boy and a girl, and the boy and the girl ghost are talking to a grandmother, per se, actually referred to as grandmother more than once. And then, of course, we had the male ghost in the house, and he had some attitude going. He didn't like for us to be there, and that's okay. That's understandable, especially when you meet a couple strangers, whether you're a human or a ghost. There's going to be a time when you have some uneasiness and some anxiety from having somebody new in the block. But then again, we had people outside. And we asked, well, why this house? Why are you in this house? And one of the remarkable things that they said is that they liked the fact that the house was in water. And we didn't know what that really meant for sure, so we called the family back later on after the investigation during our follow-up, and they're like, yeah, our house sits in water in a very high water area.
Yeah, the marsh comes right up.
Yep.
Actually overflows into their backyard.
Yeah. And so they experience a lot of water in their yard, especially in the spring. And that makes a nice, spirits oftentimes are traveling. They utilize electricity to move about. They utilize water sources. And sometimes certain stones, right? And different things. Rock formations in the ground. There's a number of things they use to maneuver around. And in this case, this house sat in an aquifer. And that was attracting spirits. And the fact that maybe that in the household, I would say that the wife and the husband both were sensitive to the paranormal. Would you say that, Mark?
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the kids, obviously, too.
Yep. They both had some experiences that, can't be explained or more than likely aren't going to happen in a regular. But we're in the second half already. That's how fast this goes. And I want to play a couple audio bits here that, and maybe it is better that I did do this with the phone, because we should be able to hear these a little bit better. Now, this first audio bit is from Mark and I. We pull up, and I grab an audio recorder out of the back. I shut the back of my vehicle, and I'm holding the audio recorder. I turn it on, and instantly, we get a male spirit who was outside, met us at the car, literally. And he has something to say. So see if you can hear this one.
My battery's dead.
I'm going to turn it up just a little bit, because that's kind of quiet. All right.
My battery's dead. My battery's dead. My battery's dead. My battery's dead. My battery's dead.
And I may need you guys to let me know. Can you hear that? I think you should be able to hear it, but I may have the phone sitting on the... Yes, there you go. Melissa heard it. Battery's dead. So the ghost comes up to us, meets us at the car. We're not even in the house yet. And the ghost says, my battery's dead. Excellent. I'm glad you heard it. Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, and that old guy comes up later, too.
Yes.
He talks to us occasionally throughout the evening.
Here's one. And some of these won't be as easy to hear as that one. But let's see if you can hear this one.
Yes. I was. Yes. I was.
Now I'm going to cut it in there so you just hear the bit. And that one, there's the female spirit who I have identified at this point as the grandma. And we're talking and asking some questions. And she responds, I don't know, turkey. Melissa said that one's pretty hard to hear. It says, I don't know, turkey. If I play it now, let me know if that's what you hear. So there might be some distorting coming off of the audio and then getting onto the phone. So we may be experiencing some. Let's try this next one here. The next EVP says, look at my secret. It's a female voice. Look at my secret. But let me know if you guys hear something else. Look at my secret. Look at my secret. Look at my secret. Definitely a mature female voice. This one here says, we are all from heavens. Excuse me. Can you guys hear that one? I think some of the problem is the fact that the phone is sitting, I think, right on the some of the audio stuff. So I'm going to move that a little bit. And did you hear it? All right. Sounds creepy, though. Here, this one, it sounds like it says, God can help you. Oh, that's pretty quiet. That's going to be a tough one to hear. Now, that bit right there is the recording of the voices that we could hear. Mark and I both heard these voices with our ear. And so I'm going to play it again. And really, I don't hear what it says per se. It is just a voice in the background that, like a ghost is trying to talk, but we can't really hear it. But it's loud enough that we heard it with our ears. See if you can hear it. What do you think that sounded like?
Yeah, that one's so tough.
That is a tough one. It almost sounded like it said something about a mockingbird. I'm like, well, that ain't what it probably said. But anyway, they are kind of tough, and lesson learned for us. But here's one that I think you all hear, and this one is the most unusual EVP of the night. The property owner, the client, is having a conversation, and he is telling us a bit of a story. And during his story, a spirit, EVP, a ghost, interrupts him, potentially saying something about a jet. See if you can hear it.
Bathtub, like one of the big old style bathtubs. The door will just creak, the handle will turn, and then the door will just creak. The door will just creak. Clawfoot, the door will just creep. Clawfoot, the door will just creep.
All right, I'm going to stop that right there because I want to see if anybody could hear or had any idea what they thought it said.
And just to preface it, right at the beginning, he was talking about a bathtub, and then it went into that weirdness.
Yeah. Now, to me, it sounded like somebody said, all four bit of warble jets creep. Bit of warble. I've never even heard of that word. I looked up that word, and that word doesn't exist. But all four bit of warble jets creep. I'll play it 2 more times. Yeah, I can try to slow it down.
Actually,
that's a good idea. Yep.
Even, yeah.
Here we go.
Clawfoot, the door will just creep. Clawfoot, the door will just creep. Clawfoot, the door will just creep.
So did that help to slow it down? Yeah, it's hard to make out because it's talking about a long word that is not in our vocabulary. And that makes it a little bit hard to understand, but it's talking about jets. And Mark and I talked about, I'm like, what would spirits be talking about jets? And I'm assuming like a jet engine type thing. And it might be stretching a little bit, but we do get a fair share of comments in EVPs about ships. And I tell you what, that's not a topic we're going to probably get into right now, into the whole alien thing, because we don't have that many more minutes left. I don't think we could have a whole conversation on aliens in 6 minutes. I don't think that's happening.
No.
But, Mark, what do you have any more to add about how the night went?
Well, it was really a successful night overall. Once we finished, when did they... So you had talked to them after. When did they say it kind of cleared up? It felt peaceful. They felt comfortable again.
Actually, I think essentially almost as soon as we left. I think they had one experience the next day, and after that it was pretty quiet.
Yeah, so I think we just had a really successful night, and it was an interesting case. And
yeah, because we did do a healing there, a cleansing of the house, and we cleaned up the place. And after that, things got really quiet for that family in that house.
Yeah, and it felt quiet when we left as well.
It did. And so we were really excited to be there and help them out with this place. Potentially 4 spirits in the house. And more than that outside. And it is, in my mind, that if we're crossing somebody inside, outside, either way, they're all going together more than likely, because the energy wraps around what would be more like a frequency or a vibration, and so it can really spread out and have an effect on all of the energy that's nearby. And so I think we cleaned that house out very nicely, and we've had good word from them, and we're very happy about it. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask? Kind of a last-minute question and answer. We have a few comments here. Joan said, interesting, love this. Kimberly said, great EVPs. Joan said, how about unlawful, the first word? Creep, the last word. Okay, that's an interesting thought. Paul Erickson's maybe a jet if water. Yeah. I mean, who's to say that we don't pick up something from the airport or something? But the interesting thing is the only piece of equipment that it was picked up on was a straight up audio recording device. Nothing else. We were utilizing no gray noise, no nothing. It was straight up EVP recording. And so yeah, it was really great. I don't know if I can keep up with the... There must be some way to stretch out these comments, but I just don't know how it is. But hey, we're looking at about 7:27. If you guys have any questions that you have about this topic or about this particular investigation, go ahead, feel free to either put them on here or private message us. Yes, it does sound like the house in Rosendale. We've had a few experiences like that where, you know, sometimes it's not just the standard ghost. You got other things going on in the mix. And that
was a great investigation too.
Yeah.
Rosendale.
Yes, it was.
It was a blast, actually.
You know, sometimes you might have some darker energies there.
And then Joan asked where it took place in town.
Sauk Rapids, Minnesota. Yep, we were right in our own grounds, so to speak, here. Mark and I are both in the St. Cloud area. And so we were in Sauk Rapids that night. And the last couple we did have been right here locally.
Yeah, it's been nice.
So, but if anybody has any investigation ideas, feel free to share our information with any of your friends or relatives or neighbors or whoever it may be. Last year, how many investigations do you think we went out?
48.
48 times we were out at some type of investigation or event or doing something. And so we kept really busy the last couple of years. And so far, 2 this year and another coming up in March. But we got some time coming up here where we're kind of open and we can fit in some locations. So if you guys have one, you let us know. The Bus Museum in Hibbing. Yes, I know. I better.
Train Depot in Duluth, though. That would be excellent too.
That would be excellent. All right. Well, if there's no more further questions, I want to thank everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was fun for me and Mark. It's our first time. I tell you what, we'll be a little bit more organized next time, and we hope to try to keep this going on a regular, committed basis, and in a timely manner, timely slot. And if all goes well, we're going to continue. And thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks. Good night.
Good night.